English grammar and vocabulary skills often improve much more quickly than our listening skills, which can lead to problems when trying to understand fast, advanced English. Because we learn English as it is written, not as it is spoken, like this. We ain't even started yet. If you follow the 10 rules I'm going to share in this video, then you will improve your ability to understand fast, advanced English. And there's a listening test at the end of the video. Rule number 10 is, grammar is only if you need it. Here's a story in written form. The journey was enjoyable, but rather uninteresting. I didn't get involved in a significant number of activities. But in a conversation, it's likely to be more like this. How was the journey? Nice, bit dull. What did you do? Not a lot. Now you may ask, where is the grammar? The grammar is in the questions. We can see that if we add all of the grammar back in. How was the journey? The journey was nice. How was the journey? It was a bit dull. What did you do? I didn't do a lot. But because the grammar had already been used in the questions, the person answering didn't need to use it again. And this demonstrates an important difference between writing and speaking. Writing builds meaning through grammar and vocabulary, but speaking builds meaning through grammar, vocabulary, context, and shared knowledge. So this leads to a tip for advanced learners. Worry less about the words you didn't hear. Native speakers didn't hear them either. The words that are crucial for understanding are always the clearest. But Rupert, what about the sounds I do hear but don't understand? In the next few minutes, I'm going to share some things that advanced English speakers should do in order to work out meaning when the English is really fast. Number 9 is pronoun contractions. So you're on a lovely night out. It's so relaxing. You're speaking with some friends. You see some people performing a show on the street and you ask your friend next to you, "What do you think of the show?" And they say, "It's a really good performance." Probably the most common combination of sounds in English is a pronoun followed by to be. But when we speak quickly, the pronunciation of these words changes. In the written form, we have I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, they are. But in spoken form, when we're speaking quickly, I am becomes You are becomes you. He is becomes his. She is becomes she's. It is becomes his. We are becomes w. And they are becomes the. But sometimes speech is even faster. And this makes us abbreviate these pronouns and to be sounds even more. So I am becomes an even faster version of So I'm going out now becomes I'm going out now. You are or your becomes you. You're very welcome gets shortened to you're very welcome. He is becomes simply s. He is a good person. This gets shortened to it's a good person. She is becomes sh. She is a top student becomes she's a top student. It is also becomes s. So it's rather a long way becomes it's rather a long way. We are becomes w. So we're going on holiday becomes we're going on holiday. And they are becomes the. So they're coming later becomes the coming later. And this helps us with the first part of our example sentence. Syriga performs. The s here has to mean it's or he's, because s is the shortened form in very fast English of it's and he's. But which one? We'll find out in the next part that it has to be it's. Number 8 is root words. And for this, we're going to focus on the word performs. Now, an advanced speaker of English will know that perform is a root word for many other words. We can change perform according to whether it's a verb or not. Verb forms include perform, performs, performed, performing. Adjectives would be performed and performing. And then there are noun forms, performer and performance. So we need to choose one of these extended versions of perform as the word that fills in that part of our sentence. Now, it needs to have a s sound at the end, which leaves us with performs and performance. Now, here we know that it cannot be performs the verb form because we already have a verb. At the beginning of the sentence, it is. And because we already have a verb, then performs cannot be a second verb in the same clause. And that means it has to be performance, except it has been said so quickly that the performance has become performs. And this is why we use it at the start of this sentence, because performance is a neutral noun. It's not a he or a she. If it had been performer, then we would know that we could use he's or s for he's. But here, because it's performance, a general noun, the s means it's. Number 7 is consonant elision. So we've worked out that real good performs means it's a real good performance. But now we're going to focus on g. What does this mean? To help you understand, listen to this. What did you hear? I don't want to go, but you and Jack must go. So, what did you think you heard? Was it something like this? I don't want to go, but you and Jack must go. And this is the way that we would say these sentences in fast English. Here are the sounds added back in. I don't want to go, but you and Jack must go. This would be the written form, not the spoken form. Now, why did we miss out these sounds? Well, there is a rule in spoken English that when the T and the D sounds come at the end of a word, they are often elided, which means left out, in fast English. Not just these sounds, but also some other sounds too. Other consonants can be elided in fast speech, really fast speech, when followed by another consonant, consonants such as L or G or K or R. So how does this affect our sentence that we have been looking at? What does this mean for the word g? Well, g actually means good. What has happened here is the d sound has been elided because that's what native speakers do in fast English. Number 6 is word position. So we've worked out part of our sentence, but we're still missing one bit, and that's this bit here, rear. So what does it mean? So rear is short for a longer word, but which one? Let's go through some possibilities and then let's use word position to decide which one it must be in our example sentence. So rear as a noun could be real, which is something you put thread on. It could also be real, an adjective, for example, a real boy. It could mean really, a really big cat. Here it's an adverb describing an adjective. Or could it be a verb, such as read, a great read? Let's look at where our word rear appears in our example sentence. It's a rear good performance. Now notice that the rear comes before good, which is an adjective. And this tells us that the word rear is most likely to mean really, because we want an adverb there. So instead of saying it's a really good performance, what we really mean here is it's a really good performance. So we've used word position and the root of the word rear to work out what the word actually means. Number 5 is connected speech. It's a real good performance, but now let's go out to the streets. First of all, did you notice what happened when a word ended with a consonant and started with another vowel? In these situations, the sounds get joined together, and this happens with s. Itsa becomes s. We make them all into one word. So when we have a consonant at the end of a word and a vowel at the start of the next, join the two words together when you say them. Treat them as if they are one word. Next, did you notice the consonant and consonant together? Here, out to simply becomes out to. We don't say out to. We don't say the T sound twice. When we have two consonants that are the same together, join them together and say them only once. And thirdly, we have vowel to vowel combinations. When a word ends with a vowel and then the next word starts with a vowel, then we add these extra sounds in between to help us get from one sound to another. For example, go out. Did you hear the sound that was in the middle of go out? It was a w sound, go out. But you can also add a y sound and a r sound. For example, see it. The picture is old. So when we have a vowel at the end of one word and a vowel at the start of the next word, think about the sound that you need to make to join the two together. This and other features are covered in my course, English Speaking and Pronunciation. You'll find more details through a link in the description. Number 4 is syllable stress. Now, in English, we have lots of words which have the same form when they are nouns compared to when they are verbs. When they are noun forms, they tend to be stressed on the first syllable. This is particularly true for two-syllable word nouns. For example, produce, subject, contest, desert. When they become verbs, though, produce becomes produce. Subject becomes subject. Contest becomes contest. Desert becomes dessert. Number 3 is content versus grammar. We're going to use the same example again here. It's a really good performance. Or should I say, it's a really good performance. There's another reason why we say this in the way that we do, and it's to do with the words that are grammar and the words which have real meaning. Can you work out for yourself which words are grammar and which words contain real meaning? Do it now. Did you come up with this answer? The grammar words are it, is and and the words with real meaning are really, good and performance. It, is and do not have real meaning on their own. It does refer to something else, but it's a referring word. Is from the verb to be, and is an article. The words with real meaning are really, good and performance. So these words need to be stressed more in English, because in English we put more emphasis on the words with real meaning. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it is essential to hear the words which have more emphasis on, because those contain the meaning that you need. We also need to know something else about what happens in sounds which are not stressed or are not in the words with real meaning. And that is, we have this sound, the schwa. In a phonetics dictionary, it has this symbol. it looks like an upside down and back to front E. The schwa can be found in the places in red in the example here. But let me go through this slowly so you can work out what's happening here and why. Notice first of all the parts in green. The parts in green are the stressed sounds in the words with real meaning. In a word with real meaning, we have to stress the sounds so that we know these are the important words. So the listener knows this is where the content is, and this is where I should be placing my attention when I listen. However, in longer words, not all the sounds are stressed. In fact, usually there's only one stressed sound in any word. So for example, for performance has 3 syllables, per, for, months. The stressed syllable is form. So here we take a sound from each of the 3 syllables, per in the first syllable, form is stressed in full in the second syllable, and then s at the end. And that way we can work out the meaning of performance. Performance. In the syllables which are not stressed, the vowel sounds change into this schwa. So per becomes p. Months becomes munts. Staying with the word performance, the other sounds are often said so quickly that to the listener it can sound as if they're not there at all. Let's go back to the beginning. We've already looked at how it is can become s through elision of quick sounds when we're speaking with pronouns and the verb to be. Is a grammar word. Grammar words usually take the weak form in their vowels. So here, instead of a, we just say the schwa. Really? We've stressed the ria part, but we also know that the L sound can be elided in really fast English. The Y sound here is E. It's similar to the sound that comes before. Therefore, it's hard to hear when you say it with an elided L. Re. And in good, we have stressed the sound g, but again in fast speech, we know that the d sound can be elided. It's important to know that common grammar words are missed out altogether in fast speech sometimes. So you may barely hear the sound or even the it sound at all because they're so fast. But because they're grammar words, they're not the words that are crucial for content. Non-essential sounds are also so fast you may not hear them. For example, in months, getting from the n sound to the s sound is difficult. So in fast speech, a native speaker will probably barely say the n sound at all. Number 2 is intonation. I'm going to show you 2 short dialogues that look grammatically the same, but there's an important difference. Where shall I sit? Sit at the back. Where shall I sit? Sit at the front? Now, in sit at the back, I went down at the end with my intonation. Sit at the back. With sit at the front, I did the opposite. Sit at the front. This difference in intonation has a large impact on the meaning of what I said, without changing any words at all. And it's really important to know this difference in meaning if you are to communicate accurately, or if when you're listening, you're going to comprehend what the intention of the speaker was. With down intonation, such as sit at the back, this indicates certainty, authority, or closure. When the person says, sit at the back, they are sure about what you need to do. They also might be giving you an instruction. You, sit at the back. They're telling you what to do. They think they have authority. And it also provides closure. It means there's no more questions to be asked. This is what you need to do, and you don't need to ask me again. With up intonation, it's all the opposite. Sit at the front. By going up, I'm indicating a lack of certainty. I'm not sure if you should sit at the front. Sit at the front? I don't know. It also shows a lack of authority. When you say, sit at the front, you're not communicating that you have the power to tell them. You're leaving it as a question which they can answer for themselves. And it doesn't provide closure. Sit at the front? It suggests that the listener still has something to do after the instruction is given. They can accept the idea or they can come up with their own idea, which is different. And number 1 is using what you see. Here's a nice picture of the outdoors. If you're having a conversation, someone might say to you, "That's beautiful." But what does that mean here? That means that's a beautiful picture. It's referring to the picture. And in English speakers often use words to direct your eyesight or your listening or your knowledge to something that has not been said. That is a very common way of doing that. So if you hear that in speech, the speaker's probably trying to get you to think of something else you already know or can already see. You don't need to go back in your mind and think, what did they say before? Because they're referring to something that you may know for other reasons. And that's a really important part of listening. People don't often say things that are already known because you can see them or it is assumed that you have the knowledge. Okay, can I interest you in a listening test where we're going to use some of the things we've learned today and find out if we can understand fast English better than before by putting those things into practice. It's going to follow this pattern here. Listen twice to a short dialogue without seeing the words. As you listen, write or type what you hear. Then afterwards, I'm going to show you the script. Does your version match the script? Listen for the first time. Do you apply for the job? No, I'm going to wait for a better opportunity. Do you think another one will come along? Yeah, I think so. It's too soon to just go for any job. And now listen for the second time. Do you apply for the job? No, I'm going to wait for a better opportunity. Do you think another one will come along? Yeah, I think so. It's too soon to just go for any job. Okay, here is the script. Does it match yours? Listen again as you read the script on the screen. Do you apply for the job? No, I'm going to wait for a better opportunity. Do you think another one will come along? Yeah, I think so. It's too soon to just go for any job. There's lots more on my course, English Speaking and Pronunciation. If you want to learn more about this course, there's a link in the description below this video.